Yeah, I got them set.
Do you want a hard copy of anything or are you all set?
No, I'm all set. Now call the meeting of the Cranston City Council to order. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilman Lee.
Present.
Councilman Box.
Here. Present. 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 Let it be noted that Councilman Stikos is on vacation. That's why he's not here this evening. I entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the last meeting. So moved.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. At this time, I'll ask everybody to turn off their cell phones. Lead by example. And will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under public acknowledgments and commendations, are there any?
I have none.
No, hearing none. Public hearings. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on any docketed item? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and you're allowed 4 minutes.
I don't know if this is...
Tim, you got to turn on your mic, Tim, the yellow light on the thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Green light should be on. There should be a green light on the bottom here. Sure. Just take Steve's.
Good evening, Council President, Council members. My name is Tim Dodd. I'm here tonight on behalf of Tom Dodd. And I'm not sure this is the right time, but under Executive Communications Section 8, there's to be a discussion of the mayor's request to put Captain Dodd on a disability pension. I'm not sure if this matter should be discussed in executive session or in open session, because there's certain medical issues and certain procedural issues which I would like to discuss. I'm a bit reluctant to do that when this comes up in an open forum. If this were to be discussed in executive session, do I have the right to appear before you in executive discussion so that I can discuss things which really involve health issues, HIPAA issues, etc.? I just want to know which way you're going.
As Mr. Dodd's attorney, would you like to discuss his medical condition in open session?
No.
No, I didn't think so. It would have to be done in executive session, and I don't believe you could be invited into executive session.
Okay, so then we're left with a procedural issue. Be it now or be it when the docket item comes out, I would like to be able to discuss the procedural issue, which I think is flawed in the manner in which this matter is proceeding forward. So I just want to preserve my right to just address the matter now or when you want to bring it up.
Point of information, Mr. Council President,
Councilman Aceto?
or point of clarification here. I believe it's the responsibility of the administration to make all decisions on personnel matters and whatnot. We just ratify actions or whatnot. I mean, am I correct in that, through the chair to the solicitor? Evan?
I believe you're correct. However, we need the information to ratify or not ratify an action.
Okay,
At this point in time, we don't have any information.
So I
Solicitor
guess
Kirschenbaum?
my question would be, Mr. Kirschenbaum, is
Yes.
that procedurally, the negotiations are between the administration and Mr. Dodd and his attorney, correct? And then the administration would make a recommendation?
I think it's straight pursuant to the CBA and the ordinances that are on the books at this time.
Thank
I
you.
don't think it has much to do with the negotiation at this point.
In the main, I'm asking for a brief continuance perhaps to the next council session. My client is awaiting certain medical records from his own physician, and I believe that the request for disability pension that's been put forth is inconsistent with Section 14 of the Cranston ordinances regarding disability pensions. Without getting into the medical issues, I believe that Section 14 requires a panel of 3 doctors to make a determination. That hasn't been done in this case. I'm simply looking to preserve, if a disability pension is granted to my client, that it's done correctly so that it can't be questioned or rescinded down the line. We're not objecting necessarily to the ultimate outcome. I'm more concerned with the process so that my client can't be harmed later. So I'm looking for a continuance to get further medical evidence. I'm looking for a continuance so that I can discuss this matter further with the administration, because the posture that it's in tonight, I think, is procedurally defective.
Councilman Santa Maria?
Thank you, Council President. May I ask a question of Mr. Kirschenbaum? Solicitor Kirschenbaum, who have we assigned from the administration to this? Is it you?
Tim Bliss has been handling this.
Council President, could we hear from Mr.
Yeah.
Bliss, or are we going to do this in executive session?
Well,
Is Mr. Bliss in the room?
Yes, he is.
I think the big question, the procedural question is what's paramount here.
I don't want to have a court fight in the middle of a council meeting. That's not my intent.
I understand that, but has a panel of 3 doctors confirmed that this individual is disabled?
No, there has not been a panel of 3 doctors. However, the panel of 3 doctors is not necessary. There's 2 provisions of the ordinances that are relevant. Section 10 of the ordinances require annual medical exams of a police officer over age 55. That was the medical exam that identified the issue that we're here.
All right,
And
so
that doesn't require 3 doctors.
So it's one medical exam has made this determination?
I'm sorry?
One medical exam?
Correct.
There hasn't been a second?
Well, there was a second in that Mr. Dodd, or Captain Dodd's doctor, was the original doctor who put him out of work, I believe, on IOD. Am I correct about that?
Wait a moment. I think there was an administrative leave that was requested by the department. Without getting into the medical issue, there's conflicting medical reports. And to follow up on what Mr. Bliss said, under Section 10, the mayor, upon an appropriate medical report, can put a member of the police department over age 55 out if the officer cannot, quote, satisfactorily complete, close quote, certain medical exams. I've only seen one page of the purported medical exam that the city ordered, which I think is ambivalent in its conclusions at best. We're not opposed to Captain Dodd going out on a disability pension. We're not opposed to that. What I am concerned about is, based upon the mayor's request and the manner in which it's being granted, to me, it's going to be subject to attack down the line if someone, for any political or other reason, wants to look into this. If the council were to grant a continuance so that we could discuss further going to the 3 doctors contemplated under Section 14, and the 3 doctors agree, or at least 2 of the 3 agree, that the medical bar bell has been rung so that Captain Dodd should be put on a disability pension, then you've got a bulletproof situation that no one can attack down the line. In my view, this is simply faulty. And if he's going to go out, I don't want this to be revisited 5 years down the line by the next administration saying that he wasn't disability pensioned off correctly. That's all we're trying to accomplish.
Mr. Council President? due
Yes,
to the
Councilman
fa-
Aceto?
Due to the fact that we could be in litigation here, I just would respectfully request that if we have any other questions or anything, we go into executive session on this.
Second.
He can state his thing. I mean, I don't want to take it out of order or suspend the rules, but when the time comes and we're debating this, if we could go into executive session, learn all the facts, so we can make a better informed decision. He can state what he wants, procedurally, whatever, but I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry what we, you know.
All right, if we do go into executive session, you realize that when we come out of executive session, all those, everything's sealed.
That's
So you
correct.
can't bring that to the floor.
That's correct.
After the fact.
That's correct.
I'm just not clear because I've never had this come up. Do I get to address you in executive session so I
No.
can really talk about it?
No.
No, you negotiate with the city solicitor.
Okay. But again, if you read section 14, I think what's being requested tonight is simply improper. If you see fit to follow the mayor's recommendation and grant Captain Dodd the disability pension, it's either been done correctly, which would be confirmed by a judge, and then I guess we'd have our closure, or a judge would say that it was not done correctly and it would be remanded. We're not looking to be obstructionists. We just want it done correctly so that he's protected down the line.
No, I think we all understand exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
Okay.
So this will come up in executive session later.
Right, we're going to go, after the executive session,
There'll be a vote.
we'll do a vote on exactly what we're going to do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Madeline Shaw.
Good evening. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm an applicant for the grant writer position, and I don't know most of you, so I thought I would come along and put a face to the name, and just mention that probably 20 years of experience as a grant writer in various positions. Been in Rhode Island since '99 and been in Cranston most of that time, '99. So if you have any questions or anything else you'd like to know, let me know.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on any docketed item? All right. Public hearing section is now closed. Moving on to resolutions. A resolution authorizing the mayor to decline the right to purchase surplus state property from the state of Rhode Island, specifically Assessors Plat 16, Lot 183, at the intersections of Route 2 and Meshanticut Valley Parkway, sponsored by Councilman Florecchio. Any discussion?
Yeah. Well, first, I guess I'll make a motion to approve, just to bring it to discussion.
Motion's been made. Motion's been seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
I'll let you go first.
Sponsor.
Councilman Florecchio?
Thank you, Council President. This parcel is pretty close to where I live, so I know it very well. It used to be the ramp, the access ramp out of Meshanticut Valley Parkway to New London Avenue and 290 Route 37. It's a very, although it's 1.6 acres, it really seems much smaller, but it's bordered by the access to Saconaset Crossroad. So it's a very precarious position. I don't believe that it could be developed commercially, although I guess anything is possible. I guess we should possibly vote it to committee just to vet it a little bit more. We may not even have enough time to stop the state from selling this parcel, because they offer it to the city for 30. I think it's a 30-day time period. So we we may not even have time. It would, obviously, my preference would be to leave it as open space. And I have my doubts about whether any kind of development could be done there, but so if we send it to committee, I guess we can talk about it further.
Under discussion, Councilman Aceto.
Yes, through the chair, what is the administration's position on this parcel?
Yeah, it's not that big. I mean,
Thank you, Councilman Aceto. As Councilman Florecchio has stated, we're not opposed to this waiver of our right of first refusal to purchase this property, and the point may already be moot as the 30-day window in which we could exercise our option has already passed. So this is merely a formality for us to go through our
May I follow up,
request.
Mr. Council President?
Yes, go
So,
ahead.
to your knowledge, Carlos, is there somebody else interested in purchasing it, or do you think the state's going to sell it to somebody, and do we know what the purchase price is?
I do not know the purchase price, but I do know that there is an interested party in the parcel, hence the request for this waiver of or first refusal by the city.
What is it zoned for?
I'm sorry, I do not know that.
Councilman Santamaria.
Thank you, Council President. I spoke to Councilman Florecchio earlier this afternoon and expressed my concern about the fact that if it's commercial, they could put a strip mall up and eliminate the buffer zone between some of the residences, including his own and New London Avenue. So I asked him if there was a possibility we could get some sort of a letter to the effect that there wouldn't be commercial development there. So I guess that's basically the concerns of a few of the council people, along with Councilman Florecchio. So, and I know we've already gone past the 30-day limit, but that's our concerns.
if I may respond, Council President.
Yes, Councilman Vecchio.
I'm not sure if we can get any determination. I suppose we could have the building inspector's office or someone give us a zoning. Although it was open, there was some open space already designated in that parcel. So, in speaking to the administration, I think you need both state and city approval. I don't know that they're going to get, anyone's going to be able to develop that commercially, but as again, I don't know if we have any way of stopping it at this point. That's my only problem.
Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Council President. If I can just make sure that we're all clear about what we're talking about. There are actually two parcels of land on that side of New London Avenue. The parcel of land that we're talking about is a triangular-shaped parcel of land that became open space, if you will, once the ramp from Mechanic Valley Parkway to New London Avenue was shut down and grass was allowed to grow over it. That's the parcel of land that we're talking about. The other parcel of land that Councilman Florecchio has mentioned in his statement is a rectangular-looking piece of land that goes from where that road used to be, that let you cut through from New London Avenue to, from Mechanic Valley to New London Avenue, to the on-ramp of Route 37. That parcel of land is designated as open space, and it also includes wetlands. That parcel is not part of this waiver that we're dealing with this evening. That's a whole separate issue, and if should anyone be interested in that parcel of land, there's a whole rigmarole of steps that they have to take, including dealing with the state and the city, dealing with the issue that it's wetlands, and it's been designated as open space. But that parcel of land is not what is under consideration at this, in tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Councilman Aceto.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. As we all know, a resolution's not binding, so if it would make the sponsor comfortable, we could always vote on the resolution and push it forward, and then maybe at one of the committee meetings next month, we could have somebody from planning or somebody come down and talk to us of exactly what can be done there and whatnot. So even though we're voting on the resolution, if we do decide at some point to pursue it, to block somebody from building there and keep it as open space, we could always do that too. So just as, Point of information.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's fine with me. I think that probably makes sense. And we have some control in the future, especially with regard to the adjoining parcel.
All right, in order to consider passage of this resolution, we have to suspend the rules, Rule 34B.
Motion to suspend rule, that rule. What did you say? Rule
34B.
34B.
Motion is made in a second to suspend. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
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 Yes. Any discussion on the roll? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
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 Yes. Resolution passes. Report of committees, Ordinance Committee, Councilman Arquette.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance Committee met and we passed unanimously Ordinance 613-4, Ordinance Amendment, Title 10, Chapter 32, Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Maitland Street from Palmer Ave to Suez, no through trucking, as amended in committee, July 11, 2013. I would recognize my colleague, Councilman San Maria.
They need a, Council President, I want to make a friendly amendment at the proper time.
Motion to approve the ordinance.
Motion been made to approve. Is there a
Second.
second? Second. Under discussion, Councilman Santa Maria.
Thank you. It's, I should say it's not an amendment. We're going to put the wording Maitland Street from Palmer Ave to Suez. Trucks delivering to Maitland Street addresses must enter via Calder Street and proceed to destination at the end. So we're going to make, provided, however, is going to be B instead of C. And at the end of, on line 43, highways, we're going to put the words, you ready? With the exception of the following, colon, and we're going to take that bold language and put that after the colon.
Second the amendment.
All right. The amendment's been
everyone
made and
understand that?
seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none. Clerk, please take the roll on the amendment.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Now, clerk, please take the roll on the ordinance.
As amended.
Through the chair,
Yes.
we do not have a traffic engineer's report on this ordinance. It's still within the 60 days
Council President,
provided by the charter.
May I ask Mr. Lopez to come to the podium? He expressed no reservations or opposition to this ordinance.
Thank you, Council
Yes, Mr.
President.
Lopez.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Santa Maria. To the rest of the council, Councilman Santa Maria and the administration's office has been working on this issue for quite a while, and although we do not have a final copy of the traffic report for this particular street, we've been working together on this, and we are in agreement with the changes that the Councilman Santa Maria has proposed, so we will be supporting this.
Is that sufficient, Council President?
That's good enough for me.
Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion concerning this ordinance? Clerk, please take the roll. If it passes, it'll pass pending the traffic engineer's report.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Aguilar?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
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 Council President, the Ordinance Committee met and passed unanimously Ordinance 6-13-5, Ordinance and Amendment, Title 10, Chapter 32, Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic, No Parking on Florida Avenue, East Side. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion concerning the ordinance? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Marquardt?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Marino?
Yes.
Yes. Finance Committee report, Vice President Farina.
Thank you, Council President. I'll entertain a motion to approve a resolution authorizing real estate and tangible tax abatements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Marquardt?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Marino?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution authorizing motor vehicle tax abatements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Marquardt?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Marino?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes.
Entertain a motion to approve tax interest waiver approvals as approved by the city.
Motion to approve.
Motion been made,
Second.
and there's a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Marquardt?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Marino?
Yes.
Yes.
And lastly, I'll entertain a motion to approve tax interest waiver denials.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Marino?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
The Finance Committee met and discussed the following two ordinances, the first being 6-13-1, ordinance ratifying the Teamsters, Chauffeurs, Warehousemen, and Helpers of America Local Union Number 251 Municipal Employees Contract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion concerning the Teamsters contract? Councilman Botts. Oh, Councilman Lucido, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just would like to thank all the members of the Teamsters for their hard work. I mean, they're the backbone of the city as far as day-to-day operation, and over the years, they've come to the table. They've given up a lot, and I'll be very happy to support this contract, which I think is not only fair to the Teamsters, but it's fair to the city and all the taxpayers of the city of Cranston.
Councilman Farina, Vice President Farina.
I want to echo Councilman Aceto's sentiments, and I wanted to remind the council that this was approved unanimously coming out of the Finance Committee meeting.
Okay. Councilman Arquette.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to commend the Teamsters for their hard work and in the past coming to the plate for the city. I want to commend the administrations for having a fair and equitable contract, and I'm going to support this contract. It is a good contract.
Any other discussion? Councilman Santa Maria.
I echo all my colleagues' comments. Steve Labrie is always a phone call away when you have any questions. And I know they work hard and they are deserving of this contract, so I will be supporting it. Thank you, Council President.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Marquardt?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Marino?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes. Passes unanimously.
Council, the Finance Committee met and unanimously approved Ordinance 6-13-6, ordinance transferring appropriations and amending the budget for fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2012, and ending July 30th, 2013.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Marquardt?
Yes.
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 That closes the business of the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you, Vice President Farina. Public Works Committee, Councilman Aceto.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met on the 1st of July 2013 on Ordinance 8S-12-1, Ordinance and Amendment of Title 13.08 of the Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled Public Services Sewer Service System, and Title 13.12, entitled Wastewater Disposal Service, as amended by the committee. This was a positive recommendation for the committee, and we recommend approval.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion on the ordinance? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
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 Next ordinance is 4-13-4, Ordinance and Amendment of Title 8, Chapter 36 of the Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled Rodent Control, Bird Feeder Fines, Nuisance. This matter came before the committee on July 1st and came out of committee with a unanimous recommendation for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Councilman Arquette.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to commend my colleague, Vice President Farina, for taking my resolution and now making an ordinance. I think this is something the city needs if we're going to combat the rodent problem that we have. So thank you, Vice President Farina.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Safety Services and License Committee, Councilman Santa Maria.
Thank you, Council President. Texas Roadhouse was supposed to come before the committee for a parade and entertainment license for Homes for Our Troops fundraiser that's being held on August 4th. They're here tonight. Council President, can I do the Safety Services mini Safety Services meeting right now? And just ask them if any questions from the council members. We didn't really vet it in the committee.
I don't see how we can have a Safety Services
Well,
Committee
not a
meeting.
Safety Service Committee meeting, but can we ask the same questions we
Yeah,
would
ask-
as committee?
yeah, fine. You can, I'll allow that. Please, your name and address for the records, please.
Richard Maltavo, 99 Garfield Avenue, Texas Roadhouse.
So I'll ask, what are you going to be doing on August 4th?
It's going to be a motorcycle run for Homes for Our Troops. We do a lot of work with them and building obviously homes for the troops and whatnot. We actually do a ride. It's going to start in Cranston, Texas Roadhouse, go all the way to the Ward, Texas Roadhouse.
Council President, I recommend approval based on that testimony.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion concerning this? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
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 You're all set?
They're all set.
Resolution urging the General Assembly to introduce and pass legislation authorizing the City of Cranston to be exempted from the provision of Rhode Island General Laws 3719, location at 2170 Broad Street. This is a Class B victualling liquor license that can't be approved until we get General Assembly approval. The General Assembly is now out until January, so we can pass the resolution, but the applicant does know that they're going to probably have to wait to get General Assembly approval. So it's up to the council, I guess, if they want to wait till January or pass it now and let them start in January.
Motion to approve the resolution, waiting for legislative...
Motion is made to approve.
Second.
And there's a second. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Florecchio.
Thank you, Council President. To the sponsor, to the chairman, rather, of the committee, have you spoken to that applicant again as to whether they went to the General Assembly?
I stated unequivocally that they came like 3 days before the session ended, so I told them they would really have to hustle if they wanted to get it done in this session. I have not heard back from them. Councilman Stikos still hadn't got the letter from the church, or he was in the process of getting it. Okay. So the gentleman did know that he'd probably have to wait till January.
I was at the meeting, but I didn't know if you had spoken to him since. I would favor passing it. Just he's going to have the burden of going to the General Assembly.
He'll have a head start in January.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give him a head start.
Through the chair, I was contacted by the governor's office last week and asked for a copy of the resolution and the letter from the church, which I forwarded to them.
Okay. Motion's been made to...
I'll second.
Okay, and there's a second on the motion, on the resolution. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman
No.
Councilman
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Florecchio?
Yes.
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 I'm done.
Councilman Santa Maria?
This one. Council President, that's the same.
The license, Councilman.
Oh, we're going to do the license. Okay, so this is the license.
Motion to deny?
We really can't prove the license now,
Yeah.
right? We can't. Can we prove the license now?
No, I don't think, unless he's got the approval from the General Assembly.
Why don't we make a motion to put it back in committee until January? Would that be better, Council President?
Want to die in committee with no action for 3 months?
I think once he gets his license, we can always
Recommit it.
bring this back up.
I'd make a motion to recommit it back to Safety Services.
Second.
All right, motion made in second. Any
Under discussion?
discussion? Councilman Aceto.
If we were to approve this license pending General Assembly approval, do we know if there's going to be a special session where they're going to go back, or we don't know that yet, right?
We don't know that, but again, like Councilman Favicchio said, it's the burden of the applicant to do the, kind of like what Cilantro did with the letters and the phone calls.
And we're over the cap anyways, correct?
Correct.
So if we approved it pending legislative approval...
I'd rather recommit it. That's my opinion.
Okay.
All right, motion's been made to recommit to committee, and there's a second. Any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Kell?
Yes.
Councilman Seal?
Yes.
Councilman Rea?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
That's all from Safety Services, Mr. Council President.
Councilwoman Lee on the Claims Committee?
There's just one claim to report, repair to an auto for $1,185.33.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Well, it's not,
Oh,
it's
no.
just a report of,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't need to approve
Okay.
anymore.
You have to approve.
Thanks.
It's for informational only, so there's no need for approval. Public hearings. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on any undocketed items?
Richard Tomlins, still at 400 Farmington Avenue, Ward 3. Stand your ground doesn't always have to be about guns and bullets. I want to give a little history lesson first on this so-called nightclub at 158. And by the way, I now understand from planning that there is no 158. When it was first introduced by Mr. Santa Maria, being the observer I am, there wasn't a surprised face in this council. I particularly looked at the two Republicans because I doubt very much with either one of them would have voted for this if it was in their neighborhood. I think they would have been vociferous if they did any kind of a homework in opposition. I have given a personal letter to the president. I have called Councilman Paul Santa Maria and Mr. Lopez. No answer. Mr. Lopez, at one of the other meetings swore he answers every call. Now, I didn't hear him say, except for Dick Tomlins, but he didn't return my call. Nobody returned my calls or my emails on this situation. So this is where it brings us, gentlemen. When it's in the record, I hope yet, when the Vice President said at the meeting, Mr. Tomlins, this is only a vote for the liquor license, we will have a vote later on about the nightclub. Everybody in the room knew or should have known that was a false statement. I trust it's still in the meetings, or in the minutes. Now, I don't think there's anybody here on the council except Mr. Arquetto that wants this in their backyard. I have talked to many, many people, some of your strongest supporters. It's not funny, Paul, and you'll find out next November, okay?
Because Council President,
please
again,
stick to the
Council
subject.
President, point of order.
You are not here to criticize council members and threaten their reelection.
Well, he's not here to laugh at me either, Mr. President. Now, you should also tell him that. If you tell him that, then I won't remark.
Please
Is that fair?
Get to the point.
All right. Now, here's the issue. I am requesting formally from the law office of this city and the chief officer for safety of this city to give a formal report as to what was done leading up to this vote. What was done, what questions were asked about the history of that place, and what the law had to do as a result. And once we determine this will not go away, and people can say or think what they want, but I can assure you, I have a B plan and a C plan. And this is going to be investigated because this was done without proper vetting. There was no proper vetting on it. It was a setup. Soon as Mr. Napolitano sat down, it was a 9-0 vote. There's no situation as that. Knowing the history, if it had been vetted, of that location that's had all kinds of problems, and don't ask me, ask the chief. Ask the chief. So I am asking, he also asked me if there was a policeman here that night. I said I couldn't really say that there was, but if there was somebody representing the police department that night, they didn't speak up, and they should have spoke up, as the major should tonight. Everybody knows the history of that place. This was something that was done behind the scenes. There's no question about it. All the evidence is there, and we will find out one way or the other. And also, just one other thing.
Mr. Tomlin, your 4 minutes is up.
Yeah, you have no right, Mr. President, not to answer my letter. You have no right. You swore an allegiance to this city, to the taxpayers, and you failed in your job. That's also going to be in the report. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for your fine comments.
Point of personal privilege. My name
Councilman
was mentioned. It is true that Mr. Tomlins has emailed me. I will not return his emails until he comprises his emails in the correct vernacular with proper grammar. The vulgarities and the words he's using in his emails, I think, kind of prohibit me from a response. So when Mr. Tomlins, in a phone conversation or in an email contact, acts as a gentleman and uses words a gentleman use, I'll be glad to speak with him. But up until that time, I think I'll stay silent.
No, this is way down the other end. Councilman Santa Maria?
I'd like to make a point of personal privilege. He did mention, Mr. Tomlins, that it was my ordinance. I'm the chairman of the committee. It's not in my ward. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Nobody interrupted you, Mr. Tomlins, when you spoke.
You mentioned that it was my ordinance. It's not my ward. It wasn't introduced by anybody. The applicant goes to City Hall, to the clerk's office, and applies for a liquor license. Then it comes before our committee. It's not in my ward. I don't even know where the place is. We just base information on information we get. So to say it was in my ward, to say I introduced it is false. I just want to make sure that's on the record. Thank you.
One other point, I'll make my point of information also. Mr. Tomlins, I'm approximately your age, maybe a little bit younger. There's been a liquor establishment at that location for at least 50 years. It was called Hots Cafe prior to that, then it changed to another name, and now it's got a new name. There's always been a liquor license there. Always. Probably back in Prohibition there was a liquor license there, if they had them. All right. And as far as your comments, your one email to me saying, what are you going to do about 175 Dyer Avenue, whatever it was, made absolutely no sense to me. You didn't represent anybody, no other comments. I've had no police reports concerning this location, other than your verbal tirades, because you don't like it in your neighborhood. It's not even in your neighborhood. You live about a mile away. And we should vet everything from Mr. Tomlins and this city council, because after all, he's a paramount figure in this city, or he thinks he is. Moving on, Councilman Farina.
Just one quick statement. We did vet this. It came before us in committee. We asked everyone present, including the responsible owner, what he was planning on doing with the establishment that was always a restaurant, bar, nightclub. He came with us with the proper certifications, with his attorney, filed all the right paperwork. We are business friendly in this city, and if you come before us and you do the right things, we will give you a license. And to sit there and say that I made any kind of underhanded backroom deal, and I did tell you at that meeting that we were approving the liquor license because he had also filed an entertainment license separately. We approved the liquor license. He came back before us, did not need the entertainment license because he was under the cap. So we did not hear the entertainment license that night. We approved the liquor license. He was applying for 2 separate licenses, Mr. Thomas. Just to correct your facts, to let you think that we did hear the liquor license that night, and we approved it, and we continued the entertainment license until he could come back before us with the proper facts. I thank you for reminding us of due process, and we did due process in this.
Just one second.
Everything that was said here.
Anybody else from the public like to speak on any undocketed item? Hearing none, the public hearing section is now closed. Election of city officials. The Cranston Public Library Board of Trustees. They're asking to reappoint Frederick Miller from the July 26, 2013 to July 25, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and there's a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Zoning Board of Review. Adam C. Seepy, appointed as a regular member of the term expiring July 23rd.
Mr. Council President?
July 23rd, yes.
I'm sorry, again, maybe I fall asleep at the switch here, but do we do the second Board of Trustee
Oh,
nominee?
I'm sorry, missed that. Regina Spiro, reappointed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Lee?
Yes?
Fox?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Zoning Board of Review. Adam C. Seepy, appointment as a regular member of the Zoning Board to replace the term expiration of Curtis Bonda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion?
Yes. Council
Councilman
President,
Aceto.
do we, through the President to the Clerk, to Madam Clerk, do we know when the end of his term is? Starts on July 23rd. Do you know what the ending date is?
That is a typo. It should say July 23rd, 2018. It's a 5-year term for
Okay,
the state
thank you.
statute.
Councilman Botts?
Thank you, Council President. We never received a resume for this person through the chair clerk.
I did not receive a resume, and I did not have one on file for his appointment as an alternate.
Thank you. Being new to the council, I feel uneasy voting for someone that I don't know anything about. I believe I will vote no on this. Thank you.
Point of order, I couldn't hear your comments. You speak into the mic, I really couldn't hear you.
As a new member of the council, I didn't receive a resume for this person. I don't know who he is. I
Who's
feel
this,
a little...
this person is being who?
I'm sorry? Adam Seepy? Yeah, so I feel uneasy voting for someone I don't see any credentials or any experience, so I will be voting no on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Santa Maria?
Council President, Adam has been serving as an alternate for at least 6 years. I am sure that the city has his resume on file.
He may have been appointed prior to the resumes being requested. That's a fairly new option over the last 4 or 5 years. Prior to that, you didn't need a resume. He's been on that board for a number of years. He served diligently, and so maybe he never had a resume. But I think the vast experience he's acquired on that board certainly qualifies him to be a full-time member. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please take the roll.
Sure, yes.
No.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes. The next position that we're appointing a person to is the Registrar's position. Stephen J. Seepy. His term will expire January 5th, 2015. He has a resume. Everybody has a copy of it, I believe. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Councilman Arquette.
Thank you, Council President. I know Stephen is a hardworking member of the Ward 3 Committee, and he's a very capable young man. I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, Councilman Florecchio, sorry, I didn't see you.
Thank you, Council President. Sorry, I'm down at the end. I'm not on the camera either.
Would you like to request a wide angle?
We need a new alignment.
You're blocking Councilman Arquetto's face.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sure that this is a very nice young man, and I'm sure he's probably qualified, although it was hard to tell from the resume. But I just have a philosophical issue with having the leader of the Democratic Party's relative serving as in a capacity as a Board of Canvassers, with the Board of Canvassers, or as the Registrar, which has a lot to do with elections. And I'm just concerned that, that we're setting a precedent where it's just partisan politics, and the Board of Canvassers has some control over who qualifies as a candidate, who qualifies as an elector, as a voter. So I just have a little bit of a concern over that.
Councilman Aceto.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I can possibly see where your concern is, but I also have a concern where a current member of the Board of Canvassing is hosting fundraisers for potential gubernatorial candidates. So, we got to be careful here, because if they're already on the Board of Canvassing and they're hosting fundraisers, that kind of has nothing to do with the person's qualifications. So,
Councilman Arquette.
Council President, I believe my first term on this council, there was a chief of staff who was very, very capable, excellent. And this body did appoint her dad to the canvassing board, who was a very capable man, may I add. This isn't the first. It's been done in the past, and capable people rise to the top.
motion to move the question.
Motion to make and move the question. Is there a second on that? And a second. No further discussion. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
No.
Councilman Arquette?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
No.
Council Vice President Farina? Yes. Council President Lee?
Yes. Motion passes. Grant writer, consultant, applicants. We have Madeline Shaw as one grant writer applicant, and we also have a Kenneth Florecchio.
Mr. President?
How are we going to do this?
We move the question.
The clerk just informed me that we just moved the question. Now we have to vote on the registrar. So clerk, please take the roll on the vote for the registrar.
Councilwoman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
No.
Councilman Arquette?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
No.
Council Vice President Farina? Yes. Council President Lee?
Yes. The vote is yes for the registrar. Grant writer, consultant, applicants. We have Madeline Shaw and Kenneth Florecchio.
Council President?
Yes.
How are we
Councilman.
going to do this with two applicants? Are we going to?
No, we'll take the first, we'll take them in order. We'll vote for the first one, then the second one.
I'm going to do that.
And whoever wins, wins.
Okay.
Do we have a lottery to see who goes first on the?
Well, I'm going to go by the order they were put in there.
I'm voting Master Levitt, then.
Through the chair,
Yes.
we need 6 affirmative votes.
We need 6
to
affirmative
carry.
votes according to the clerk. Well, first, Madeline Shaw. Is there a motion?
I'll move to...
Motion been made by Councilwoman Lee. Is there a second on Councilwoman Lee's motion? Hearing none. We'll move on to Kenneth Florecchio. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing, yes, Councilman Botts.
Reading Mr. Florecchio's resume and also having met the person before, I think he'd be a great candidate as a grant writer consultant for the city. I'm just surprised we didn't put Mike CP up for this role, given the number of CPs that have been on the docket tonight. But thank you. I will be voting affirmative for him.
Thank you for your bit of repertoire, whatever you want to call it. People live in glass houses, however, should never throw stones. Councilman Farina.
Councilman Arquette and I were talking about, and I believe we reviewed it with you, Council President, doing a 6-month review of the grants that the grant writer has come up with, and then a reappointment after 1 year. I know we don't have a lot of written statistics on what we expect from the position and what the findings are, but I think we should consider that as definitely an idea.
Council President, I agree with the Vice President. From the get-go, this was a stipend with no benefits, no pension, just a trial basis. And we'll see what happens after the year. If it's justified, we go on with it. If it's not, we don't have to put it in next year's budget. So I have no problem with monitoring it daily if we have to.
It's not crazy.
Any other discussion? Councilman Florecchio.
Thank you, Council President. Just a quiet question. I believe we only funded it for 1 year. Am I correct?
Right, it's a 1-year fund.
It's a 1-year, basically a 1-year contract at best. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea to review it every
6 months.
All right, any other discussion concerning this? Hearing none. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Lee?
No.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Arquette?
Yes.
Councilman Lucido?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Council President Farina?
Yes.
Council President Lee?
Yes. Report of city officers. Are there any reports? No? Yes.
Hey, when you
Okay, moving on, then executive communications. Does the administration have anything to report on their executive communications?
Thank you,
Mr. Lopez?
Thank you, Council President. If I could just take a moment to organize my papers before I start. Council President and the Honorable City Council, we have several members of the Cranston Fire Department that are eligible to be placed on the pension rolls. If I could go through each one in detail. The first person is Lieutenant Kevin R. Hodnett, who is eligible for the pension roll as of June 28, 2013, and we recommend that he be approved.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion concerning this motion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. The next person from the Cranston Fire Department, which we respectfully request to be put on the pension roll, is Deputy Chief Kevin P. Morris, who is eligible to be on the pension roll as of June 30th, 2013.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion concerning the motion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And third on the Cranston Fire Department is Captain David Mizzoni. We're recommending him for a disability pension request as of June 30th, 2013.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Councilman Aceto.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I remember when Captain Mazzoni was walking to Westview Elementary School and he was 5 years old. He's been a lifelong friend to the family, his services to the city. I want to thank him and best luck in the future.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Councilman Santa Maria.
I would like to say good luck to Dave, my friend. Thanks for all your help throughout the years and your friendship. And Godspeed and good luck in whatever you plan on doing from here on in.
Anybody else? Dave, good luck. We're going to miss you. Clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Continue, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Council President. Next, we have the retirements from the Cranston Police Department, and we'd like to present Lieutenant Paul Socosio, requested to be placed on the pension roll as of July 5th, 2013.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any discussion? Councilman Arquette.
Thank you, President Laney. I'd just like to thank Lieutenant Socosio for his services. I had the privilege to work with Lieutenant Socosio. He did handle Ward 3 when I was first elected, always returned my phone calls, always kept me posted on any major event. I want to thank him for that and wish him luck in the future.
Any other discussion? Councilman Santa Maria.
Lieutenant, we will miss you. Good luck to you. I know you'll do well in whatever you plan in the future. So good luck and Godspeed.
Paul, you did a great job. You're certainly going to be missed. Councilman Aceto.
Thank you. I'd like to echo what Councilman Arquette and Councilman Severino said. You've been a good friend, Paul. Good luck. Thank you for your service and good luck in the future.
All right. Motion has been made and seconded. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Arquette?
Yes.
Councilman Aceto?
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Severino?
Yes.
Yes.
Council President, before we move on to Captain Thomas Dodd, if I could just make a personal comment on behalf of the administration.
Yes.
To the gentlemen that are retiring, on behalf of Mayor Fung, the administration, and the city of Cranston, we thank you for your service. and wish you nothing but the best and an enjoyable retirement. Thank you, gentlemen, for everything you've done for the residents of the city of Cranston.
Well said, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, sir. And now we move on to the matter of Captain Thomas P. Dodd.
Mr. Council President?
Yes, Councilman Cito.
I'd like to make the motion that under Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A1, that we go into executive session under personnel.
Second. Motion been made in second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Maria, seal the minutes first or come out of executive session?
Motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made to come out of executive session, and there's a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion to seal the minutes?
Motion been made and second to seal the minutes. Any discussion? Clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Council President, make a motion to approve Captain Thomas Dodd for retirement at the request of Mayor Fong to place on disability pension.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve his retirement and disability pension. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No. Moving on. Claims settled by the solicitor. Mr. Lopez or Mr. Kirschenbaum? Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. The only item on the claim settled by solicitor that we have is a Verizon damaged wire for $4,384.81. And then a Strauss Factor, Ling and Lyons attorneys for Geico, representing Charles Parenka for $1,677.17 resulting from vehicle damage. Those are the two items, Council President.
Okay, thank you very much. Under Council President Communications, I'm going to do something a little bit different this evening. I'm going to ask Paul Valletta to come up to the podium and speak on the tragedy that occurred in Arizona with the 19 firefighters who perished. I think he can explain my feelings and the feelings of the department, fire department, much better than I personally could.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse my appearance, I wasn't prepared to speak. But yeah, we lost 19 firefighters. Their ages ranged between 20 and 30. It was a young crew. It was they're called fire jumpers. They were all found in their protective tents. The fire overtook them. That's pretty tough firefighting when you do that wildland firefighting. Once that wind changes, you're all done. So, yeah, we did lose 19. It's the largest loss of life for firefighters since 9/11. Actually, I just got a text that 50 New Jersey firefighters were hospitalized tonight after a 4-alarm blaze. So I thank you for allowing me to speak. It's just, it's the job we do. Sometimes they're good times, and these are the bad times. But I appreciate the council president. I appreciate this council's support of the Cranston firefighters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valletta. You know, you don't really appreciate firefighters, police, people who help the public every day until something seriously happens. Then you realize how important they are to this community and to all the people who live in that community. And I certainly respect the Cranston Fire Department, the Cranston Police Department for all they do. Thank you, Mr. Valletta, again. Moving on, council member communications. Councilman Arquette.
Thank you, Council President. I'm just have a copy of the. Oh, did he call you? He said.
No, he called you.
Did he call me or you?
I'm wicked. Go ahead.
Did you call Richard?
No, I called the majority leader, Mr. Arquette.
Thank you, Council President. He was tapping me, but I just want to say I do have a copy of the Providence Journal dated July 20, 2013, and as I open up the journal for anyone who did read it, there was a small little article pertaining to lawmakers. The General Assembly gets a 2.1% raises, and I've been on this council for 5 years now, and we're still at the same salary. This council has the credit of not raising taxes for the past 3 years. This council has credited with pension reform, as well as Mayor Fung leading that. We've worked very hard, and I think it's up to us to spread that message that the time and the hard work and sometimes the aggravation we take from constituents, that I hope we can do something in next year's budget to give us a small little stipend, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Arquette. As a side note, I believe this council has not received a raise since 1986. Maybe the city clerk would know. That's correct. 86, am I correct on that, Councilman Arquette?
I think you're right, yes.
Yeah, so for what we do, we're probably one of the least paid councils, at least in a major city in Rhode Island. And we don't do this for the money, because none of us would be here if we were here for the money, because I'm sure we don't even make minimum wage, but that's not the point. Anybody else on the council communications? Councilman Santa Maria.
Thanks, Council President. I have the Walmart on Plainfield Pike was still waiting for a local contact. 2 Saturdays ago, I was with my grandson, and there was a tractor trailer parked over on the side with the gentleman probably sleeping inside. And again, you can't call Missouri on a Saturday. And that's the only contact we have for Walmart. So I would like, please, a local contact with a cell number so that we can call, per state law, a local contractor for service or process.
Mr. Lopez, you want to comment on this?
Yes, sir. I'll be working with Councilman Santa Maria, and I apologize, it's taken a while. It's one of those things that is sitting on my desk to do, and unfortunately with so many fires, it just kind of fell by the wayside. But the councilman and I work well together, and we'll get that squared away before the next meeting.
And thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, Council President.
Councilman Aceto.
Council President, can I just say one other thing?
Excuse me, Councilman. Councilman Santa Maria?
Just a little quick. It's not on the agenda, but we had another successful feast yesterday. even with the rainstorm on Saturday. We had a great parade. And talking about a salary for a councilman, walking the parade route and hearing so many positive comments from the people on the parade route, especially the job that I'm doing and my colleagues, to me it's just as much of a payment as a dollar bill. It was a good time, and I think they really realized what a good job we're doing, Republican or Democrat, and I think that was expressed to us on the parade route yesterday. It was a good time. There was, from what I heard from the major, very few incidents, a couple of instances of vandalism, but as feasts go, it was probably one of the more successful ones, and I hope everyone had a good time and sampled the great food in Ward 5. So I thank everyone.
Councilman Aceto.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Director, is there any follow-up on the odor complaints that residents in Alpine contacted? And I know I haven't gotten anything in like 3 or 4 days. I just, don't know what we can do as a city to, maybe once the odors come, they come, but are we to a point now where we have a plan that if it happens again, we'll file an injunction of some sort with Bedrock or whoever it is? That's the first question. And the second question has to do with yard waste pickup. I know for a while there were at least 40 or 50 complaints in the 4th Ward anyways on trash pickup day that yard waste wasn't getting picked up the same day as trash. Has that been resolved yet? Thank you, Mr. Council President.
Okay. Any others? Hearing none. Mr. Lopez, you want to make one last final comment?
Yes. As far as the landfill situation is concerned, Councilman Aceto, you're correct. The calls have diminished to almost none. The big issue with the landfill is really which way the wind is blowing. And unfortunately, that's something that's out of our control. However, as far as any injunctions or litigation is concerned, we haven't gotten to that point yet. Mayor Policina and Johnson have taken the lead on that because they're affected more immediately. So we're kind of taking a wait-and-see attitude with what's going on with them, especially in light of the explosion at the landfill and the issue with the Broad Rock gas sucking project that they have up there. So we're taking a wait-and-see approach, but we do have our eye on it. I and also Marissa Campesani, the Director of Constituent Affairs, have been in touch with RIRC, and what they tell us is, and if you want to pass this on to the constituents, is whenever they smell something, whenever they feel that it's the landfill, they have to call, because the first thing that they tell us when we call from the mayor's office is, well, we haven't gotten a single complaint, so what are you talking about? And then, of course, we go through the list of constituents who've called. And as far as the second issue, Councilman Aceto, regarding the yard waste, that's pretty well under control. We have had, Director Mason has had conversations with Waste Management, basically letting them know that they need to shape up their operation. The big test will come in the fall when, of course, the leaves fall and people have more bags out there. But we are monitoring it, and Ken Mason, Director Mason, is actively working to monitor that issue. So we are on top of that, Councilman.
Thank you.
Councilman Botts.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to remark on a couple of things in Ward 2. I had the pleasure of attending a ribbon cutting at a new restaurant that opened on Park Avenue called Hibby Shabu Shabu, and it involves cooking meals in hot pots, and you cook them right there on the table. But it was great to be able to attend, and if you're looking for a different kind of meal, it was very delicious, and I urge anyone in Cranston, especially in Ward 2, to patronize the establishment. And in the same vein, Saturday night I went to the Artist Exchange, the new character cafe that opened, just for stopping in for dessert, and happened to catch a band that was playing in the theater next door. And we always talk about revitalizing Rolfe Street and the area around there, and the best way we can do that is patronize the businesses that are either established or opening. So I would urge the constituents of Ward 2 in Cranston to go out and try these places and check them out, because You get a very generous scoop of ice cream at the cafe and also a very delicious meal at the other place. So, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to have a commercial? No? Moving on. Old business. Is there any old business listed?
Yeah.
I have none.
Is there any new business?
We have the following new business for introduction. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-1 ratifying the International Association of Firefighters, Local Union 1363, collective bargaining agreement for the fiscal year July 1, 2013 through June 30th, 2016, to be referred to the Finance Committee for a hearing on August 15th. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-2, an amendment of Chapter 17 of the Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled Zoning, a change of zone for 31 and 42 Poplar Drive. This is to be referred to the Ordinance Committee for hearing on September 12th. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-3, an amendment of Chapter 17 of the Code of the City of Cranston, entitled Zoning. These are definitions pertaining to floodplain, to be referred to the Ordinance Committee for hearing on August 15th. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-4, an amendment of Title 17 of the Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled Zoning for Special Flood Hazard Districts, also to be referred for hearing to the Ordinance Committee on that's August 15th, 2013. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-5, an amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Cranston, entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic, No Parking on Callaman Road, to be referred to the Ordinance Committee for a hearing on August 15th. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-6, an amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Cranston, entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic for Pond and Orchard Street, to be referred to Ordinance Committee for a hearing on August 15th. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-7, an amendment of Title 5 of the Code of the City of Cranston, entitled Business Licenses and Regulations for Itinerant Food Vendors, to be referred to Safety Services for a hearing on August 5th, 2013. Proposed Ordinance 7-13-8, an amendment of Title 5 of the Code of the City of Cranston, entitled Business Licenses and Regulations for Public Entertainment Licenses with a new expiration date, to be referred to Safety Services for hearing on August 5th. We also have a resolution listed that was addressed earlier on in this meeting, so that will not be introduced. We have the following new claims, which were inadvertently omitted from the docket. These, we will post an amended one tomorrow listing these. These are to be referred to the Claims Committee for hearing on August 5th. Property damage claim of Geraldine Cannon from an alleged incident on May 1st, 2013. Property damage claim from Michelle Vitale from an alleged incident on February 9th, 2013. Property damage claim from Dolores Ciambrone from an alleged incident on June 8th, 2013. A property damage claim from Angelina Again from an alleged incident on May 29, 2013. And a subrogation claim from Allstate for their insured Diana Lincoln from an alleged incident on June 8th, 2013. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Is there a motion to refer all matters to the all matters as read by the city clerk?
So moved.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Bob?
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell? Yes. Councilman Segal?
Yes.
Councilman Maria?
Yes.
Councilman Florecchio?
Yes.
Councilman Farino?
Yes.
Councilman Moore?
Yes. Miscellaneous business on the clerk's desk. Mr. Kirschenbaum?
Council President, could I, I'm sorry.
The Rhode Island DOT Police Detail Memorandum of Agreement, the executed copy was received in my office late Friday afternoon, so that has been received and is now on file. We can remove this from the docket.
Councilman Santa Maria?
Thank you, Council President. As you know, as Chairman of Safety Services, we were sued by a certain establishment in Ward 5 for a fine that we imposed. They appealed it to the Department of Business Regulations, and we got a ruling today. So Attorney Kirschenbaum wanted to speak on it as far as couple of things that we have to do.
Well, we did
Kirschenbaum.
get its decision today on 2012 Sports Bar, and I just received this today. I have not had a chance to review all the findings. It's dated the 19th, but I just received it by email today. Essentially, I did give a copy to the clerk if she could email you copies tomorrow. She said she would. Essentially, what the findings were that the appellant agreed, meaning 2012, agreed to the imposition of a restriction of live entertainment, that there was an error in the license, which was only a clerical error, and did not bind the council as to the restrictions on the license. The appellant acquiesced to the trial period of the license. However, what the department said was that we had no standards if you were under 100 to restrict entertainment. So what they want the city to do is to come up with some standards that they can review within 30 days so that we can seek to regulate people with certain objective standards if you're under 100. We all know we have certain criteria for, well, we may not, well, we have certain licenses for over 100 which have to pass council, but the entertainment under 100, we have to come up with some criteria by which to judge them. Until that is done, the particular restriction on 2012 is upheld. That means the restriction is still valid on 2012. Once we approve these restrictions on the entertainment, the standards which we approve or deny the entertainment restrictions, they're entitled to come back to the council to reapply for an entertainment license in accordance with our new standards. So what I would suggest is that to the chairman, he and I have talked about this, is perhaps to advertise for solicitation of comments from the public on reasonable restrictions on entertainment and what kind of standards the city council should adopt. Take that into account where we can draft some regulations to be approved by DBR, and then we can pass them on to the council as an ordinance.
Council President, the 30-day rule is the only thing I'm concerned about. Can we ask the solicitor and Attorney Quinlan to maybe draft something that we can vet at the Safety Services meeting, which is coming up in a couple of Mondays?
When's the next Safety Services meeting?
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from tonight, right?
August 5th. It's a week from Monday.
Week from tonight?
No.
2 weeks from tonight.
Yes.
So we have 2 weeks. I really would like to have it vetted at the Safety Services.
No, I agree with you. I think that we have to move on this quickly.
Yeah.
Mr. Kirschenbaum and Mr. Quinlan get together, and maybe easy solution would be no entertainment unless you have 100 or more. That would solve the whole problem. But anyways, you guys can vet it, come up with something, and we'll discuss it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? No? Hearing none. The next regular scheduled meeting will be Monday, August 26th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion been made and second. All in favor?
Cancel me out of this. I don't want to rush you like crazy. Yeah, I sent my email. Jack Reach. Give me a flash. I'll give you a hand.